Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first stream for Grit and Valor 1949. My name's Bruce, and I'm one of the community managers over at Megabit Publishing. And today I'm joined by Sophie. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Bruce. How are you? I'm very happy to be here today.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. We're both community managers, as I mentioned, for the publishers of this game, but it's actually brought to you by Milky Tea Studios, an group, indie group. They're not a band, they're developers based in Liverpool, UK, and they've made this incredible game that we're so excited to share with you. So what we're looking at is a real-time tactics roguelite, which is a really cool combination of genres. So in terms of the real-time tactics side, you're going to be controlling a squad of mech warriors in real time on a grid-based system to fight off waves of enemies, and then upgrading that squad as you go through the missions and rinse and repeat, trying to save Europe region by region. But before I mention too much about the story, I'm going to let Sophie just give a quick summary of what the setting of the game is.
Yeah, and you can already tell probably just by looking at this amazing art that we see on the screen, but it's 1949 as the title Grit and Valor 1949 refers to, but the World War II rages on and you're kind of in an alternate diesel punk setting, and you control as the player the resistance and their mech pilots, then you have to fight off the evil Axis forces. And right now, they have pretty much obliterated Europe with their giant mechanized warriors. So the story is exciting, and we cannot wait for you guys to discover more.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to dive into the game then. And on this save that I've got open, we're actually starting out at the Resistance base, and we've got a few modules here that we can look at. So, Sophie, where should we jump into first? We've got three options here.
You know what? Let's go left into the pilot barracks.
All right, let's look at our pilots then. Okay, so here, as you can see, we've got a roster of pilots. Now, I mentioned earlier that you've got a squad, which is a combination of three pilots and three mechs, and we'll look at in a moment how you can combine those for different outcomes. But yeah, here's your roster. I won't go into all of the detail about what they all do, but at a top level, each of your pilots is going to have a unique ability. So when you pair that with a different mech, you'll get these really cool combinations. And as with most aspects of your squad, you can actually upgrade these over time using the currencies that you acquire throughout your runs. Any other?
And you know what? It's really cool, Bruce, because in this game, essentially you get to build your mech squad the way you want to by just customizing with a lot of freedom, the kind of tactics you want for each of the missions. Could you give us an example maybe of a different pilot setting that maybe you prefer on your side?
Yeah, so if we look over to this pilot, Archie Baker, so he's got the mech jet ability, which I really like. So you'll see when we get into the mission gameplay how useful this is. You can activate this to quickly jump your mech across the map, and that's really handy. Not only does it deal damage where it lands, but it's just a quick way to move your mechs around. One of the limiting factors is that they're quite slow initially before upgrades, but you can counteract that, especially on your slower mechs, which might deal more damage at close range by moving them across the map
This is
quickly
my
with this.
favorite, actually. This mech jet ability, for me, combined with, say, the fire mech that is a bit more sluggish on the field, makes for a really nice jump and try to compensate, I guess, to jump straight into the action. So I cannot wait to jump in the game and actually, experience some of that with you guys.
Absolutely. The last thing to mention is if you do want to upgrade the ability of each of your pilots, you're going to use this currency called Valor, which you can see in the bottom right here. And I've got a little bit to spend, so why don't we just upgrade Archie a little bit while we're at it. There we go. So now,
Now, how do you earn Valor,
so
Bruce?
Valor is earned during the mission gameplay itself. So you'll see before every mission which currencies are available as rewards, and that might influence the path that you end up taking. When we take a look at the region map, we're going to compare the options that we've got, and maybe if we want to earn a bit more Valor, that might make us lean towards one more mission than, say, a different one. But
Exciting.
hopefully that all makes sense to everybody. Why don't we jump into the Junkyard shop next? I feel like it makes sense to go there before we head to the Mech yard.
Let's go.
All right. So, what are we looking at here, Sophie?
All right, so in this junkyard shop, you can see here you have your scavenger. And I just want to take a moment to say, oh, I love the art in this game. You have this really artistic drawings and just a feeling that I feel really fits into the setting of the game. So here you can upgrade your modules that you get into the missions. And you can then take those upgrades and apply them to your mechs into the Mech yard, which is the other area that we're going to explore in just a moment. So why don't we pick one of these? So we have the targeting computer, we have a bulkhead, and another one is the generative bulkhead. So you can see on the right side of the screen different stats and upgrades that these modules offer. So why don't we go and get this one, which gives you a +2 bonus, in this case 100 bonus to armor with the bulkhead.
I would love to
Oh,
purchase
you
it.
don't
There's
have
nothing
enough.
there's nothing
I
I'd
was
love to
just
do
looking at
more.
your currency.
But if we check
I wish you
my
could have gotten it. We're gonna have to go in the game and then we can get our bulkhead afterwards.
That's it. Yeah. So now we get to the second premium currency, which is scrap. Another
I'm too excited.
yeah,
I want to kill
well, so
stuff
am
now.
I. But look, maybe when we get into the mission gameplay, that's something we'll bear in mind. Okay, maybe we choose the path that's going to give us more scrap, so we can start buying these upgrades as well. Because as it
Yeah.
stands, we can't afford any, unfortunately. But if we did, let's imagine for a moment, if we did have enough to buy a module or two, then we would head over to the mech yard over here. So I'm going to open this up real quick, and as you can see here, we've got one of our mechs loaded up in the garage, ready for some changes. This one is the ironclad, and as you can see, there are various slots here where we can upgrade, and if we did have modules to slap in there, then this is where we would do that. We could obviously chop and change by opening up our inventory and then putting them in. In this case, we can see we've actually got an engine module fitted already, the swift combustion chamber there, which increases our fire rate and speed. There's something else I want to mention as well here, which is as you upgrade your mechs and fill in these slots, you're going to increase the power bar down here. And when you reach certain milestones, I think the first one being 6, you're going to gain some mech traits, which will give you additional bonuses to the strength of your mechs. And I'm not going to say exactly what they are, because that's a secret that I want everyone to find out for themselves. But
Oh yeah.
they are well worth getting, and you can see there are 3 tiers here, with the highest one requiring 18 power in total. All right. Anything else we wanted to say about the mech yard, or should we hop into some gameplay?
Well, can we see maybe another mech at the bottom? I just want to look at how cool they look, and all three of them have
Yeah, of
different
course. Yeah, that's a good point. This is a good chance to look at our 3 mechs that we're going to start out with. So we've just seen the Ironclad. The second one here is the Thunderhead, which is a explosive type mech. I suppose now is a good time to mention there are 3 styles in total.
hmm
One being ballistic, one being explosive, and then the third being fire.
Which is your favorite, Bruce? Do
My
you have a
favorite.
favorite one?
My
Yeah.
favorite. I really like the Thunderhead, which is an explosive mech. It's super good because it fires from such a long range, and you'll see why that's important when we get into the missions. Being able to take out waves of enemies without having to move around too much is a really powerful ability. What about yourself?
It's also my favorite for the exact same reason. So I keep saying this, but I can't wait to get in the game and actually experience that with you guys. And can't wait for you to see how it plays out and also get some feedback from you, of course, if you wanna share some thoughts about what you're seeing today.
And then we've got our final mech here, the Drakan, which is a flame mech. Really good at dealing damage, deals lots of damage, but it tends to need to get up close, these types of mechs. And we'll also talk a little bit about how these types interact with each other when we jump into the missions as well, because there are some type advantages that come into play. But without further ado, as you've mentioned, we're both itching to actually hop into a level, so why don't we do that and head over to the airfield here. So this is where you're going to start every run. The times that you return to base are between every run, whether that ends by you failing or successfully saving a region. Or you can retreat at any time. You might be sort of halfway through a run and realize, okay, actually, I've got plenty of currency to spend. I don't feel like pushing on much further. I'm going to retreat to base and upgrade and then move back out. So you'll be seeing this area pretty frequently. And then when you're ready to head out again, you go over to the airfield and you choose the region that you want to deploy to.
All right, so we're not going to do the training grounds for this stream today, but we're going to jump right into the British Isles. You probably realize that there's more to this place, so maybe there is other regions that we can play in the game further down, Bruce?
Yeah, that's right. So there's going to be additional regions that we release along the game's lifespan, so do keep an eye out for those. But for the time being, the first one is the British Isles, and we're going to do a couple missions there and see how we get along. So the very first thing we have to do is customize our squad. So when we talked about pairing pilots and their abilities with the different mechs earlier, this is what we mean. So any recommendations here in terms of who we should pair with which mechs?
Let's see here. Ironclad Mech Jet. I love this. I would go with maybe Thunderhead as deploy mines and Durkan as Mech Cano Arm. You know what? Let's just go with the basics and let's go with the setups that you have right on screen.
Great. Okay, we'll stick with the combination we have here then. The only thing we haven't mentioned yet is the command vehicle. I feel like this is really important to mention before we hop in. The command vehicle is carrying the mission critical EMP that we're trying to escort throughout Europe. And the whole idea is that we're delivering this EMP to disable the Axis headquarters known as Machine Tower. So the objective of your game is to survive the waves of enemies through every mission without your command vehicle being destroyed. If you do, then that's how you fail a run and end up having to go back, upgrade and try again. So the command vehicle is a unit that we can move as well, but it doesn't fire back against any enemies. That's where your mechs come in. You're going to have to use them to protect and escort the command vehicle all the way through each region. So I'll hop in and we can take a look at what the mission gameplay looks like. So before every mission, you're going to see a screen like this, which gives you a lay of the land. I'm going to just hop right in and we can talk about it as we go.
All right, so we can see your command vehicle here on the side. You do not want him to be destroyed, as you mentioned. So what is your strategy when you begin, Bruce? Any tips for people watching?
So things you want to look out for are parts of the terrain which are going to give you advantages. So for example, when I select a mech to move it, you'll notice that some tiles here have this green shield on. That means you get cover while you're on those tiles, and you're going to receive less damage from enemy units as they come in by being placed on those tiles. Another thing that's really important is height advantage. So when you're higher up against your enemies, you'll be dealing additional damage to enemies that are below you. So that's really important to bear in mind as well. But it goes both ways. If your enemies are able to attack you from higher ground, you'll receive additional damage as well. So those are two things to look out for. And you can take that time at the beginning of the mission to find out where those are on the map and strategize.
Right, so before you jumped into the action, you were able to actually just, have a look around the map and see the terrain and how you could potentially use that to your advantage. As you say, the high grounds, but also where you could put your mechs for cover.
Yeah, 100%. It's that kind of thing you want to think about. And then another thing you want to consider is the bonus objectives. So there are quite a few of these. And they'll be randomized every run. They won't be the same ones on the same levels. And in this case, you can see as I'm fighting off these enemy units coming in from the sides, I'm trying to capture these two radio towers, which I'll focus on here and here. And you do that by placing a command vehicle on these tiles and filling up their meter as you go. But as it happens, I might run out of time. The final wave is possibly going to be completed before I can actually capture both of these, so we'll have to see.
So, what do you get as a bonus when you do complete those objectives?
So, what you'll get is the bonus currencies that we talked about earlier that are going to be used for upgrading your squad, buying modules for your mechs, improving your pilot's abilities. those come from the bonus objectives. If you complete those, then yeah, that's where you get the long-term benefits. So they're worth going for, but they will come with a bit of additional risk as well.
You've mentioned something, Bruce, and I think it's worth really noting is that no, every mission is never the same because you have some elements that are random, like sometimes different bonus objectives, but also the way the map is being built and the waves that are coming are always different.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be random every run, so no run will feel the same, which is a really nice part of this game because the missions are relatively quick. Even the ones later on in a region, they'll be harder and slightly longer, but they'll last maybe something like 5 minutes a pop. So yeah, it keeps the game snappy, keeps it fresh, and always interesting and different.
Right, so words for those of you that are watching that perhaps are casual gamers and are maybe put off by RTS games that have maps where it takes an hour plus sometimes 2 or 3 hours to complete. Well, Bruce has just said it. You can complete a mission here in approximately 5 minutes. Sometimes if you don't have a whole lot of time before going off to work or something like that, you can jump into Grit and Valor and put in a quick game session.
Yeah, I really love that about this game. It's really easy to just pick up and play. And then at the same time, if you do have the time and you want a slightly longer session, then you can totally do that and see if you can maybe clear a whole run in one go.
Absolutely.
So I've managed to claw my way through that first mission, which is thankfully not too challenging to start off. But I'm now given the option to upgrade one of my mechs, and you'll get this every mission that you complete. A temporary buff that lasts for the duration of your current run. And in this case, it's for the ballistic mech. You can tell that by the ammo symbol at the top of each of these. And you'll get various buffs, things like additional damage, increased fire rate, maybe you can apply debuffs to your enemies, that kind of thing. So I'll pick one of these. Increased damage sounds good, so we'll pick this one in the middle. And then you'll also see here's what you could have won if I'd done the bonus objective, but I've only just run out of time, so we've missed out on 75 Valor there. We'll have to do a bit better in the next mission and see what we can pick up. All right.
Well, you have to think fast and move your mechs in position rather quickly to fill and do those bonus objectives, and at the same time protecting your command vehicle. So, yeah. Oh, we're the map here, Bruce. Can you explain to the viewers right now what are we looking at?
Right. So we're in the British Isles region, and this is the region map. So between every mission, you'll get to choose your pathway through the region. As you can see, we started at the top here with the mission that we've just completed, and now we've got one option over here and one option over here. I'll click on those in just a moment, but just to give you an idea of the map, I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see how far we're going to have to work our way down towards the finale right at the end here. I don't think we're going to get that far in this session, but we'll see how we do. Some other things to mention are you can see the status of your mechs here on the left. So you can see how much health they've got left. And just a reminder of the abilities that you've assigned to each of them with the pilots. Particularly important is the status of your command vehicle, of course. If that runs out of health, then your run is going to be over. So let's see what our choices are. We can tell already that this mission is going to upgrade our fire mech if we're successful. But by clicking on it, we can also see what the bonus objective is. In this case, it's to capture radio towers, just like in the last mission. But this one is going to offer some scrap as a reward, which I know we were really keen to get. So we'll bear that in mind.
I was.
Yeah, definitely. Want to upgrade those mechs. And in the other case, we've got the option to complete the bonus objective for some additional Valor. So, Sophie, which way do you think we should go?
I think we should go left, based on what I've seen.
All right, we'll go left.
Get those. And I want to ask you, Bruce, what happens if you either get your command vehicle destroyed or you retreat? Do you keep those rewards to start over, but maybe a bit with a bit more upgrades to your mechs?
Right. So the upgrades that I received, the one that we just received for the ballistic mech is a temporary one, so it's going to deal additional damage for this run only, and those upgrades will stack. But anything that we buy with the currencies that we've earned from bonus objectives back at base are going to be permanent. So things like your pilot upgrades, additional modules for your mechs, those will stay between runs. So over time, you're going to be getting stronger and stronger and able to push further through each region.
Awesome. Now, looking at the game, we can see the kind of rock, paper, scissors logos in the top. Bruce, have you explained this?
Yeah, so we've mentioned already 3 types of mech. We've got ballistic, flame, and explosive mechs. And these are also indicated in the tags above each of our units as well, that you can see. These are really important because there's a rock, paper, scissors system, like you say. And if we're fighting enemy units, especially enemy mechs, you'll notice they've got the same tags. Now, this triangle up here at the top will indicate which types deal additional damage and receive additional damage against enemy units. You can see this one lighting up here as it deals extra damage. So another thing to bear in mind is you're deciding where to put your mechs and how best to protect your command vehicle.
I like how you can just, scroll, zoom in, zoom out, and just readapt your camera however you want it.
Yeah, I can't believe we haven't really mentioned yet just how beautiful this game is, and all of the, I like to call them dioramas because they sort of really feel like a nice little scene. Every mission is really nicely crafted, and the art is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, you can manipulate the levels by turning around, zooming in and out, and then obviously scrolling around as well. And you'll want to do that so you can see around pieces of terrain, make sure that your mechs are placed in the best positions. But also, as this wave comes in, we can see that they're coming from this direction. So I already know I want to be facing this way and making sure that my command vehicle is protected, that I'm ready for those guys as they come in, and all that sort of thing.
Here they come. And this is your last wave, and you got your bonus objectives completed this time.
Yeah, I've managed to do it. Here we go. Just going to finish off this enemy mech.
Amazing.
And I think we're all good. All right, there we go. So we were successful in this mission, Sophie, which is great. And we'll take a quick upgrade to our fire mech. Which of these sound the best to you?
Let's see. You have steering mobility. While your fire mechs are on high ground, their movement speed is increased. Blazing pursuit. When one of your mechs kill an enemy afflicted by exposed, they gain increased movement speed for a short time. So could you tell us what is the exposed affliction?
So when you hover over these, you'll see in detail what each of these debuffs are. In this case, exposed will just cause them to take additional damage. And there's a few of these on each of the types of mechs. I think some will do things like slow enemy units down, cause them to take additional damage, or slow their fire rate down, that kind of thing. So really useful if you can start to stack these abilities on top of each other.
Okay, and then you have Renewing Blaze. When your fire mechs deal critical damage, they have a chance to heal. Ooh, that is also very handy. But I will go probably for the first one. The movement speed when you're on high ground with your fire mechs.
Nice. Yeah, movement speed is really good, especially on the fire mechs, like we mentioned earlier, because they're a little bit slower, but they need to get up close. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. All right, so we've added a little bit of scrap. So we're going to be able to upgrade our mechs when we get back to base. How do we feel about doing one more mission, making a few upgrades, and then calling it a wrap for today's show?
Yeah, and I think we're doing quite well. Our command vehicle has not a single scratch on him. So, which path do you want to take this time?
So in this case, we have the option to get some field repairs, which are really handy. Our explosive mech has taken actually quite a bunch of damage, so maybe that's a good idea. And then on the other side, we've got steel plating, which is going to apply some armor to our squad, also a defensive benefit. I'm tempted to go for this one. We've got a different bonus objective to go for, which is interesting, and also that armor is really helpful for sustaining your squad throughout the region. So let's give this one a try.
Amazing. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So
ooh, and we're in a different area. We have trees now. It really is looking quite nice. Gotta say, I love the graphics of this game.
yeah, really beautiful map. And this is what I mean by taking just a quick look pre-mission. Things to note about this are there's a lot of high ground here in the middle. So we probably want to try and stay in the middle as much as possible and keep that high ground advantage to deal additional damage. And then we can also see here, this is going to be the bonus objective. It's got the purple tag above it and its own health bar. We want to make sure that this is protected in addition to our command vehicle to get that extra scrap. So let's see.
Here we go. Starting mission. So you have to defend the resistance safe house, and you are right next to it. So.
All right, we've got enemies coming from just this side at the moment. Something I haven't done yet is make use of the pilot abilities. I've been way too focused on trying to maneuver, but let's see if we
That's
can.
right.
Let's see if we can do something with these as well. So we've got the deploy mines on the ballistic mech. I'll show you what that looks like. If we put some down here. Can we get the enemies to walk on them? Yeah, we can. So those are really effective. Those are really, really good. They do time out, I think, after a while, so try and use them at a time that you think you can get the enemy to move on to them. And then the mech jet is currently on our ballistic mech, so I'll show that when we have the next wave coming. Also worth mentioning, the command vehicle, while it can't attack back, it does have an ability called Reinforce, which will actually heal all of the mechs around it with some quick repairs. So we've actually been able to bring our ballistic mech, sorry, our explosive mech, all the way back up, almost to full, using that, which is really handy.
Mm-hmm. I would say you're doing really well right now, Bruce.
That's very kind of you, although my my objective was getting set on fire a little bit just then, so I'm glad I was able to put a stop to that. Alright, let's bring everyone back into the middle.
Here they come again. Wave 4.
Right, let's try jumping our mech right in.
So you don't have any cover spots by being on top there, but you do have the high ground advantage.
Yeah, I'm a little bit exposed, but like you say, the high ground does do a lot for us. When you click on a mech, what you're looking at as well, I should have mentioned this before, is you can see its movement range, but that's also its attack range. So you want to try and position them so that you know enemy mechs are going to, or enemy units rather, are going to walk into that range. And ideally you've got your mechs planted there before they arrive, because they won't fire while they're moving. Alright, just cleaning up this side. And you'll also see these.
So what would you say? What would you say is the main difference when you go from first missions to all the way down, almost getting into the Axis tower, mission tower?
Even as you're pushing towards the end of British Isles, you will see things start to heat up. You're going to get more enemy mechs like this one showing up rather than just the infantry units. They're a bit tougher to take down. You're going to need to take advantage of the different units types to succeed there. And also the waves increase as well. So yeah, stronger enemies, slightly longer missions. So plenty to watch out for. There's also some additional challenges that will come. You've got hazards that will affect the map. So I don't think we're going to reach them today, but things like bomber planes will start to fly across the map, and you'll have to move out of the way, so you can't just camp in, say, high ground or undercover. You've got to move out of the way unless you're going to receive really high damage from things like that. And then there are also elite mechs, so really powerful units that you're going to have to strategize a bit more to work your way around.
And there's much more that we cannot wait to disclose as we go further into development. So guys, keep an eye out, because there's so much about this game that we have yet to reveal.
Oh yeah, there's so much depth, and we've only really scratched the surface today, but I hope that we've done a good job of showing off the key mechanics here. There's going to be all sorts of additional challenges and unique mechanics that arrive with each of the regions as well. So the British Isles is challenging on its own, but actually relatively straightforward compared to what's around the corner. So I do look forward to players getting their hands on and seeing what comes next. Do keep an eye on the Steam page, and if you haven't already, do join us on Discord. There should be a link right below us somewhere on the Steam page, as well as our social channels. We're on all of the main platforms, so do keep an eye out for us there.
And we also have a very, very few slots left to our ambassador program. So if you want to be part of an exclusive group of playtesters and work with the devs and share feedback and have exclusive insights behind the scenes of development, send us a message on Discord, raise your hand and say you're interested, because we have only a few spots left. Then maybe you want to jump in the game and give us your first impressions also.
Yeah, that'd be much appreciated. So do keep an eye out, and yeah, like I say, join us on Discord. The chat is lively and exciting, and we can't wait to share more with you about Grit and Valor 1949.
Thank you so much, Bruce, for showing the game today. And well, see you around, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.